Record?
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole concept of car window transactions has historically been done by fast foods, franchises, highway burger places, things like that. And banks eventually caught on with ATM machines and that kind of stuff, and pharmacies. So have you ever been wondering about how some lawyers are closing deals these days with their clients? Well, now some lawyers, like Melanie Williams of Law in Motion in Bowmanville and Marmora, Ontario, are doing just that, curbside closings. So welcome back, Melanie, again for another show.
Thank you.
So it's Wednesday, April 22nd at 2020, not at 2020. So it's Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020 at 11:05 a.m. And I'm Jennifer Foley, Remax Realtor, working in Durham region and Northumberland County. And Melanie, so let's dive right in. Let's talk about these curbside closings that are happening right now for you. I know you've been a mobile lawyer for some time now, going to people's homes and sitting at their kitchen table and preparing all the documentations for their closings on their purchase or the sale of a home. So now curbside closing seems to be one of the ways to help the market keep going during these times when we're all staying home. And so instead of sitting at the kitchen table with a buyer or seller, you may be now doing garage or parking lot closing or porch closing. So tell us all about that. How are you leveraging these quote unquote drive-through deals or curbside closings with your clients to close the real estate transactions? After that big all-in-one sentence, it's your turn.
So, as you know, like we've talked about before, my practice is all about bringing services to clients in their homes and their businesses, anywhere really that they need me. In light of the pandemic and everything that's happened, it's sort of changed the dynamic of how that gets delivered. So I love the phrase curbside closings. It's pretty funny, but it's so fitting because we are offering services in any way that we can see possible. So I've done it where a client's been sitting in their car and I'm just kind of outside the window watching them sign documents, right? So whatever works for the client is what we're willing to do, right? So some people still want to come into the office, still want to see me in person. So they'll be in one room and I'm 2 rooms over. As long as I can physically see them from a distance, anything goes at this point. We're still, if you're technically savvy, again, we will do electronic signings, but for those clients that need that personal touch still, I am still seeing them. It's just in a different way.
So how are you verifying things like identification? Because that's something that typically lawyers have always had to do face-to-face and see the client's ID. And, are you using phone technology? Are you, what are you doing for that?
So I still so a lot of my clients are repeat clients or people that I've done other work for. So if I've done their will years ago and now they've come back because they're buying or selling property, those ones are very easy. It's a simple double check to make sure it's still the same person and cross-referencing against my records from before. If their documents have expired, just getting updated copies, but I'm already familiar with the client. So in those circumstances, it's pretty easy to just quickly re-verify who they are and where they are. As for new clients coming in, the way I've been doing it is when we send out that introductory email to say, congratulations, we're happy that you've selected us to move forward with your deal. Please send us copies of your identification documents in advance so that I have the documents, and then when they either come on the line or if they're in person, it's simply asking them to hold those up so that I can cross-reference them against what I already have in the file. It's a
great idea.
Yeah, so it just adds that extra step. Now for seniors who don't have that capability or don't have that technological, don't have that tech savvy approach to things, I still do it the old-fashioned.
Choose not to.
Or choose not to, yeah, absolutely. So I do it the old-fashioned way where they bring them in, and if they want, when it's through the glass door of a car window, they just sort of slip it out to me. And then I have the Purell handy and Lysol my hands and give it back to them, right? So I do what we can to make sure that I'm still going through those, all of those procedures to verify the client on behalf of the bank and on behalf of the Law Society to make sure that the identity is correct.
So if I was a new client to you and we were closing on a transaction, I'm a purchaser or a seller, and I have to meet with you because I've got some documentation and I'm not going to come to the office. So what would the process look like? Take me through that.
So if there's, sorry, go ahead.
How would you come to me? What would you do?
So if there's documents that we need in advance, right? So if I need you to review something and you don't have those, you've chosen not to use email to communicate or whatever the case may be. And depending on your location, I have mailboxes at both spots. So if you're in Marmora or in Hastings County and you have documents that you need to get to me to review before we proceed, the process is leave them in my mailbox. I'm down 2 to 3 times a week and I pick up the documents, like check on my plants, all of that good stuff. And then if it's Bowmanville, I'm here a little bit more consistently. So again, they leave the documents in the mailbox. I'll come out, review them, and then they can pick them up again. Or alternatively, if it's me who has documents to get to the clients in advance, then I can get them to their house by way of courier or hand delivery, whatever is most convenient.
Okay, so if you were coming out to my house though, would you stay in the car and then I'd be in the house and we're on the phone and then you'd leave the documents on the porch and then I would go get them, bring them into the house, sign them? Because there are still quite a number of people that are, their internet doesn't work well enough to do electronic signatures, especially in rural areas. Or we have, people that just don't have that added expense, or, they just choose not to, or whatever, different various reasons, right? And we have to be a little more creative to our thinking and how we're doing stuff. So, okay, so you would leave it on the porch, I would bring it in and then sign it. You would go over it with me. Is it on the phone then? Will you wait in the driveway? How does that look?
Yeah, so if it's something that I've delivered to you and I need your signatures, you can't physically, like I would have to wait to see you sign them. So you'd have to bring out a lawn chair or something to that effect so that I can physically see you from my place within the car and watch you signing.
So you could use technology like this with FaceTime if somebody has an iPhone, or
if they have an Android, we could use Skype. So there's different electronic platforms, but with my senior clients, typically I'm on a landline with them and I'm talking to them and then they have the documents in front of them, right? So I'm lucky enough that I haven't been on the line with someone who's on a corded landline because that might present a different avenue of problems, but a wireless on the front porch, like a hands-free landline, seems to work well.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there are still the odd people that have, not odd people, but like the odd person that will still have an actual corded telephone, which, there's a generation that's going to have no idea what we're even talking about. But certainly I know what you're talking about. So yeah, that's a good point. So typically, how are your clients responding to all of this?
I've been very blessed because everyone understands what's happening. They're as concerned for my safety as they are for their own. So the social distancing has been very easy to implement and making sure that we still get the deals closed. Now, I also have procedures in place so that once the restrictions are lifted, each of those clients that I don't have that personal relationship with from a time prior to this pandemic, I have, basically we've diarized to follow up with them, to bring them into the office, to give them those personal touches, right? Because it's still important to build the relationship, and it's kind of lost when there's so much space between you, right? And it's harder to read the client, make sure that they're understanding. So we have a list of clients that I am so anxious to get to know and kind of put into the database as, when's their birthday, so we can send cards and really do things that in the service industry make us special, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's awesome. So thanks so much. I know you're a busy lady and you've had lots going on in the last couple of weeks, and I do appreciate you taking the time today to speak with me. And certainly if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and we'll see if we can get Melanie to answer them. If there's anything specific to real estate transactions that Melanie and I can answer, then we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too.